We both saw the Mr. McMahon documentary.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. The one thing that I learned from watching that was how he really approached it as a pure business, and he took his ego out of it.
I don't know if he took his ego out of it
Let me
completely.
explain what I'm saying. The one thing that really struck me was he would have all these wrestlers over the years leave his company, diss him publicly, sue him, and he would actually bring them back, even after the lawsuits,
That's smart.
and incorporate the lawsuits into the storyline.
That's smart business.
In fact, they even said in the documentary, they said that if you want to reestablish your relationship, your business relationship with Vince McMahon, sue him. There's a higher chance of him working with you again over that.
No, that has nothing to do to me with ego. That's about being a great businessman.
Right, but a lot of times our ego stops us. So I'm not going to say who it is, but there is a guest, a regular guest that's been on Vlad TV, a lot at one point. You haven't seen him in many, many years. After watching that, I called him up. We had a talk. We squashed it. And you're going to see him on Vlad TV very soon. That's how I was affected by that.
I'll give you an example from the doc, which was pure narcissism. And I love when I saw this, and I originally saw this on the 30 for 30 on ESPN, when Bob Costas was talking about how for the XFL, it had all this potential. Mm-hmm. And he said, when you announce it, it would have helped if you had humbled yourself. Like for the big premiere. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Vince McMahon, blah, blah, blah. Sit back, relax. I now present to you XFL. But instead, you come out and go, the XFL. You bring in the wrestling aspect into football, and real football fans don't want that. So take your narcissistic ego out of that and be humble, because you're entering an arena which you want to be successful in. And the NFL has so much history, so much prestige, so many fans, that if you're going to compete, dude, humble yourself. Don't come in with this is the WWF mantra and attitude. You're turning people off already. Yeah, they're not taking you serious.
I just think, from what I have seen about the XFL during that time, they just had crappy players, and people didn't want to watch these glorified high school games.
Nope. When you watch the 30 for 30 on XFL, there was a lot of things that potentially were great. So much so that the NFL actually took certain things from the XFL and incorporated it into the NFL. So it had the potential. He just, he was Vince McMahon. He got in his own way. And it got sillier and sillier as it progressed.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he could have bought the UFC for like a couple $1 million was pretty wild. But to his defense, he had already dropped the ball with the XFL, and he was like, listen, the UFC is not WWE. This is not like drama and acting. This is an actual sport, and I don't really have a lot of luck building up actual sports leagues, so he let it go. There's a reasonable chance if he had bought it that it would have just went into bankruptcy.
Listen, you got to tip your hat to him and guys like him. You don't get to be a billionaire entrepreneur without fumbling the ball.
Yeah.
The failures come with it.
Of course.
That's why I love that commercial by MJ. I've failed over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. And most people don't even know how to get to that level of success, and when they do, they're so scared of losing it that they don't take chances. He took chances, and he failed miserably at times, but his legacy.
Yeah. Well, Denzel, he's about to star in the new Gladiator 2 movie.
Yeah.
But you actually criticize him for trying to do accents.
Listen, man, I've said this before on my podcast, and I'll say it loudly and proudly. I don't think people give enough respect to how hard it is to pull off accents.
Yeah.
And it's amazing that you could be some of the greatest actors the world has ever seen. That is not a birthright to your ability to pull off an accent. We could go from Tom Cruise in Far and Away. We can go with Keanu Reeves in Dracula. We can go with Denzel. And listen, Denzel has done Shakespeare, Much Ado About Nothing, Macbeth. But when you look at the Mighty Quinn, There's one particular moment where he starts off Jamaican and ends American. What you mean you want to go upstairs and sit down and eat breakfast after dinner? Like, it's terrible.
Oh yeah. I mean,
And I forget, I didn't even know he was in this movie till I saw it online, but he was in some movie where he did a British accent. Now, to people who are really from the UK, they were like in the comments, yeah, mate, that's not it. One of the finest actors of all time, but that ain't it. You know, here's a moment that I caught, because I do accents. At one point in the scene, Denzel says the word nothing. Now, and if you know anything about British people, they replace the T with an F. They don't go nothing, they go nothing. It's nothing. I don't know what you mean. You talk nothing. But Denzel would go nothing. And I went, yeah, he should have had an accent or a dialect coach.
I mean, look, I said this publicly on Twitter, and people try to get on me about this. Keegan-Michael Key, he was played the voice of a Jamaican bird in Migration.
I didn't see that.
It was one of the worst Jamaican accents
No.
I've
I'm glad
ever
you
heard.
brought that up, because I didn't even think about it. Brad Pitt doing a Jamaican accent and Meet Joe Black. Oh! That's what I'm telling you. Brad Pitt, to me, is one of the finest actors to ever act.
Wait. Brad Pitt is one of the finest
Don't do that.
actors
Don't do
to ever
that.
act. Brad
Don't do that.
Pitt.
Don't do
Hold
that.
on. He got better
Don't.
over time.
Get the fuck out of here.
He got better. Listen, once
One movie.
Fight Club hit, then okay. Fight Club, I'm like, okay.
Here's the
he's
movie
legit.
that cements it all. 7.
Yeah, 7 in Fight Club.
No. Hold on.
Around the same time.
Don't
Around
do
the
this,
same
Brad.
time.
Please don't do this.
Before then, he was trash.
Trash?
Yes.
Get the fuck out of here.
Thelma and Louise, trash. Just a pretty face.
That's what he was hired for, specifically for that scene.
Doesn't matter.
No, it does matter. Let me tell you something. One of the hardest things for actors to do is to cry on camera. That scene in 7 where he's struggling with, it's all sinking in, my dead, pregnant wife, who I didn't even know was pregnant, her head is in a fucking box. I'm struggling between upholding the law and not killing this motherfucker to I'm gonna empty my whole clip in him. When they're showing that scene where it's in the box, oh God! And you show the close-up in his eyes, and you see that struggle, get the fuck out of here. Brad Pitt is the real deal. He's like Oscar De La Hoya and Sugar Ray Leonard. Pretty face, but don't get it twisted. He got them hands. He got them acting hands.
I just remember when he started. When you saw, movies like Thelma and Louise and Cool World and, stuff like that. True Romance. It was like, Interview with a Vampire. By the time 1995 hit with 7 and 12 Monkeys, that's when things kind of...
And Fight Club.
And Fight Club. That's when it was like, okay, he finally got his chops down.
Okay, but you got to understand something. That's not about him not having his chops. That's him getting the right opportunities. Hollywood often will give you opportunities that won't allow you to showcase your talent. That's not his fault. Let's be honest. He's a fucking heartthrob. The younger you go back, he's a fucking heartthrob. So Hollywood wants to cast him as a heartthrob. But in order for you to show you got them hands, you need the right opponent. So until he gets the right opponent, he's fluff. He's doing fluff.
Okay.
The talent's always been there. The opportunity hasn't.
All right. I mean, I see your point. Because you do...
Brad is a bad motherfucker, dude.
I mean, look, accents, I feel especially the UK guys really just murder it.
Well, the UK guys, Australian,
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman doing an American accent, Tom Holland doing an American accent,
Idris Elba. Listen, I didn't know Idris was British
I didn't either.
until he was off The Wire.
Yeah.
When he was on The Wire,
Right.
I'm like, oh, okay.
Damson Idris.
Yeah.
The one from Snowfall.
Yeah. Another one.
Yeah.
But every so often, what's his name? Morton Downey Jr., he pulls off a pretty good British accent.
And what?
Sherlock Holmes.
I never really saw Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
But again, when you do accents, it's those nuances. Like when you do an Indian accent, they replace their W's with V's.
Can you do Indian?
What are you saying? We're going to the Indian wedding. A wedding is a wedding.
A vetting.
A what is what? What are you saying? Everybody's going to an Indian wedding. So
Okay.
that's Indians. Yeah.
What's the difference when you do a British accent versus an Australian accent?
I can't do an Australian accent.
Ah, okay.
But there's something in that.
There is a subtlety in there.
There's a subtlety in that,
Yeah.
you know, crikey, you know, crike. You know what I'm saying? How they say certain things. Yeah.
I mean, you know, Russian accents, that's something that hits close to home.
Just sound like you want to hurt someone. I used to do a joke where I would go, Russians' sense of humor's fucked up. They laugh at the wrong shit. Bartender, 4 shots of vodka for my comrades. We're going to toast. What do we toast to? Rape. Yay.
But with the Russian accents, you have to put an it in the wrong place.
A what?
An it.
It.
I would like to make it toast.
I would like to make it toast.
Right. Not I would like to make a toast. I would like to make it toast.
I would like to make it toast.
I would like to
Right.
make it toast.
I would like to make
Yeah.
the pussy eat mine.
Yes. The it really has no place being in that
Okay.
sentence, but they
Yeah.
throw it in there for some
Yeah.
weird reason. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.